Welcome, everyone, to the July DNN Show Up Tell Meetup. Um, Today we're gonna have actually two demos. One for Jeremy about the DNN Easy News, the new article editor, and myself. I'm gonna talk about Sitemaps, the basic stuff when you need to set this up. Um, just a friendly reminder, we have a YouTube channel, and on the YouTube channel, you can look for um, all the different demos divided by playlists. So currently we have one off from Up and Content, all the monthly meetings, the whole thing recorded. It's there. Then we have three for SEO, two videos for Too Sexy, and six videos related to DNN itself. So you can always go and visit that channel and just watch whatever demo you want to look at instead of just looking the whole thing. You can just jump right into the subject that you're interested on. Also, all the details for each month session, you will find them on the DNN Show and Tell Meetup page. It's this one over here. And just a couple of notes, very important, DNN related. The DNN version 10.03.03 should happen soon or by the end of July. And also the DNN version 10.04, it's likely to set up for August or September. Okay. So without any further delay, let's just get started with the first demo. Jeremy, I'm just going to stop sharing real quick so you can get started.
All right. Is this thing, can you see my head?
We see you.
Yes, we see
All
you.
right, good. I'm going to get this screen shared then, and you can hear me okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yes.
Um, let's get straight into this. So, last fall, October in particular, EasyDNNnews surprised everyone, at least me, with an upgrade to their interface after quite a few years. Trying to find the exact article. I think it was, well, this one's on 14.2. It came out in version 14. One of the main things that it did, that they did is they redid the interface. And if I understand correctly, it was done with React and Material UI. And it still uses the CK editor for WYSIWYG. And they put quite a bit of effort into making it, well, pretty, but it's much easier to use. I find that when we do stuff in there, I get through things faster, much faster. And there it is, React.js and Material UI. And they're keeping it up to date. They've gone all the way through to 14.8, and almost every point release, including the last one just a few weeks ago in June. They continue to add features and a few fixes, but they've got WebP support now. And anyhow, I just want to jump in and do a quick show off. Oh, here's the 14.8 new WebP provider, tag management, event creation. If you go backwards down their release notes page, it's really impressive and a lot of stuff focused on making the article editor better, and we've enjoyed it quite a bit. So I'm going to show it to you actually in an older project because it kind of shows off that the way they present the interface, they've done a really good job setting aside any theming issues that you might run into. So this is a project, let's see, and I'm just going to jump straight in and edit the article, and you'll notice right away This looks very different than the old one. I didn't think of that until just now, but I should have probably shown you the old one before I started. But very clean interface, nicely spread out. Sections are split up similarly. As I mentioned, this is still the DNN default CK editor, but they've done their own nice job stylizing it a bit so it's nice and clean. They've done a really good job on all kinds of small things. I especially like how well they made it so that you can add things. You notice how clean this is. Article gallery, add from server, add a video, and each one's tailored to exactly what you're trying to add. I don't have the gallery integration on here. Documents, add from server, and you can get into your folders. This one's got a bit much, huh? And works really nice. Can do multi-selects, bring stuff in. They've got a really nice interface for links. If you ever do anything where you have certain articles with permissions, that's a feature you have to turn on in the module or default settings. But once this is available, you can make it so people in roles can see certain articles and not others. So that way you can promote people or set up a pay and subscription system. So publish expired dates. As you can see, these are all modern React toys that you're looking at. So they look really good, but very efficient. The old one, I used to have a lot of problems getting, well, at least in our themes and stuff, I used to have some problems with selecting categories and expanding and contracting them. All this stuff's normal. Events. So I really wasn't planning on doing much more than this, but I did want to show people that this is a beautiful new interface. It's much faster. And I'll just add on 2 or 3 little things I'd like to recommend to people, or I teach clients each time they show up in here. A lot of clients don't want to or think about getting in the habit of doing a summary. I very highly recommend that even if you have a short or long article, make sure you do a summary because that will appear on your listings page. And a summary needs to be thought up as a teaser. When you have a list of things in front of you, you want to tease people into clicking through and reading your article. And then secondarily, this section, really, really, really recommend people take the time to put these in, because EasyDNNnews does a nice job of putting all of this information properly under the hood for Open Graph. So just fill this stuff out once, your stuff gets generated, structured data all stays up to date, and Google just eats that stuff up and does a really good job with it. Can do an especially nice job if you carefully plan your images well. And so the other recommendation I have is if you're doing events, which we've done quite a few of, add as event. One of the things that is not in EasyDNNnews yet, and if Demir is watching this, hopefully they'll consider adding this in the near future. But most events also have a location or a venue. And I just wanted to mention that it's very easy to add. You simply switch over to your dashboard and you can add it as a custom field. So you first set up your manage custom fields group, and then you add in your new custom fields to that group and that type. I'm not going to go through that much of a demo yet because I'm already past the amount of time I plan to spend. But setting locations and venues, we do park districts and a few other types of clients. And so an event takes place in a location, and it's really nice that you can add those with custom fields, though I do actually feel it should probably be a default built-in feature. So anyhow, this is an older site. I'll mention one more thing. Upgrading. EasyDNNnews, EasyDNN Solutions, those guys have been one of the best module upgrade vendors out there. So I highly recommend that you do not hesitate if you want to get up to the latest version, even if you've got a site that's 5 or 10 years old. We've had very successful upgrades jumping from version 10 to version 14 with no problems. We've had quite a few successful situations where deploying new sites and importing stuff from old sites, we had to levelize the two versions. So we upgraded the old site to 14, the new site got 14 installed, and then the exports and imports worked great. So that's another way you can work through these things. But again, that's all I really wanted to cover was this thing's beautiful. It's a job well done. It makes the job much easier. And I recommend everybody, and I encourage you very strongly, do summaries on your articles. And that's about all I got. Anyone have any questions?
Well,
Just a
I don't have
comment.
a, go ahead, Don. Go ahead, you first, Don.
Oh, thanks. Just a comment, and that is that we love EasyDNN as well and use it quite a bit. I've only used the new interface on a couple of sites, just mostly because I'm a little bit behind on getting every upgrade. But I'll concur about the upgrade process with them, and it's always smooth. And I think once in my entire history did I have a problem, and getting a hold of Damir and his people. To correct it is a piece of cake, and they're very supportive. So all in all,
Yeah, I
great.
feel exactly the same way. They have done a great job all the way back in time, and we've even had some weird sites. We've actually written some C# to call into their classes and DLLs and extract stuff and display it in 2sexy. And they've even kept those really solid, even though they're not publicly available APIs. So we only once in the history had them change something that caused us to have to rework a script. But anyhow, um, let's. I have some
Do
notes
you
here on
guys
things I
find
was
your
not supposed to forget. Go ahead.
do you guys find it helpful to streamline the administrative experience for the clients? Because we do that often. We'll pare it down to only the fields they need for their, use case.
Absolutely, 100%. I picked this older one here because they had all the fields on still. But normally
Mm,
when we know they don't use the summary and or a subtitle, for example, we will hide those.
yeah,
Very,
a little bit
very,
of
that's
a little
important
bit
to
of a
do, I
hidden
think.
feature, but it's very powerful. Really nice to
Yes.
Yes.
clean things up, and it helps with training because this can be overwhelming for somebody first starting to use it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. I think it's more approachable now. It's one of the things, reason I'm so impressed with this new interface. And I realize it benefits from Material UI and React and all that stuff, but it's really nice to see after all this time.
I had not considered the paring it down, hiding some of the fields, etc., in the past, and didn't even know about it. Um,
Yeah, it's kind of
but
a hidden
the
feature. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I do have somebody that builds events for a county, and it would be and oftentimes she's struggling with what's there. So by when we do the upgrade, I'll definitely want to do the upgrade off on another machine so that we can configure it just right and give her a quick tutorial on it before we switch over the live site.
Yeah, because you just mentioned one of the things that does bug me about it is this morass of
Hmm.
settings and then the
It's
default
grown over the
settings
years.
versus the module. Oh, it's so
I
weird. I
remember when
mean,
it used to be like this, but now it's like,
I know.
Right.
One of the things that I've done, and I swear this has happened almost every 2 years, when I see a significant new version, I come in here and I go page by page, reading and looking for stuff. And half the time it just re-educates me on, okay, I know where that feature is now, because sometimes they're hard to find. But there's so many useful features in here. If you've got a project and you don't spend the time to expand all of these and read down the page, you're probably hurting yourself or your clients. There's so much good stuff in here. We've used a lot of the features on and off over the years, but my God, it's a lot, right? And we do
Mhm.
have some sites where the EasyDNN gallery is integrated, and then that adds a bunch more. So
Hey, it could be worse. It could be Catalog.
it could be what?
Catalog.
Oof, oof, I barely remember that. That's over 10 years ago for me.
Yeah.
That's the biggest settings bloat, uh, but very powerful module
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
Although I would give a nod to Sexy as having quite a few sections, settings spread out all over the place. Some of them very well hidden, but I found
Yeah,
them.
but they do a good job with it for
They
in
do.
general. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, over time, piece by piece. All right, anyhow, compliments to Demir and those guys on great UI upgrade, and let's move on.
Okay, great.
I need to
Excellent.
unshare, and
Yes.
that means I do there.
Uh,
I swear that button moves on me every time.
Sure. Uh, and just let me know, guys, if you see my screen.
Sitemaps.
You see it?
Yes.
It's great. Okay, cool. So, my session today is about Sitemaps, and it's pretty much to cover up the basics, summarize of what I think people should always look at when we're talking about the Sitemap and what are the things that you should not miss when configuring and obviously taking advantage of the DNN platform to accomplish this task. Um, the what I'm gonna share and what we're gonna be talking today, it's about the best practices, and then I'm gonna jump into real quick to the DNN platform, the latest version, to take a look real quick to the settings and how I configure those, and then we can discuss further. First, um, always reference your sitemap, whenever it's XML or if it's ASPX, the one that generates DNN, always reference it on your robots.txt file as an SEO best practice still. This is pretty important, and it's actually specified, and Google has confirmed this in their developers.google.com website article about how to build a sitemap, which link it's down here. The priority and the change frequency tags, they're ignored by Google. So we mainly have to focus on the last modification value right now. Um, Obviously, always aim right now to 2026 for dynamic sitemaps that auto update when content changes instead of just doing a manual XML file that you need to update every time that you work on a page or create a new page for a specific website. This is pretty basic stuff, but it's important to always mention XML sitemaps are meant for search engines, and the HTML sitemaps are for end users. Recommendation is to try to have both of them implemented on your website. Now, Google enforces a limit on your sitemaps of 50,000 URLs, and the size of the file should not be larger than 50 megs. If you have more than that, and then we will jump real quick to the link from developers.google.com URL. But if you have more than that, you have to create an index, or separate that big sitemap into different or multiple sitemap files. Okay. Very important. Always use fully qualified URLs on your sitemaps, including the HTTPS protocol at the beginning, always full absolute URLs. The priority tag does not affect ranking at all. So there's no reason for you to put all the pages on one, trying to think that the search engines will look for all pages as important. The priority is more for creating like a different way of communicate the structure of your sitemap or your website to the search engines. Because if you prioritize your homepage with one, that should be always the case, and all the other pages 0.9, for example, and then if you have sub pages, then you can start, decreasing the value up to 0.5, which is the default. I wouldn't recommend going further down than that value, but because you then will have a very complex data page structure, which is something that you have to always avoid on a website. But again, it's not priority, it's not something that is gonna help you increase your ranking on search from Google or any other search engine. And like I said before, we already confirmed, and this is the link, and I will click on it so you guys can see it, where Google specifies that, either the priority tag or the change frequency tag signals are not crawling signals for ranking decisions. So I'm going to click on it. And this is the URL for the sitemap page, how to build a sitemap from the developers.google.com site. And if you come here, there you are. So you can see here where it says that Google ignores those two values. Come on, man. Here. I don't know why I click on it and it goes up, but this is the line where it states that we don't have to worry about those two tags anymore. We have to focus on the last modification tag. And hopefully it will be included automatically, so you don't have to worry about doing that manually. And about the sitemap limits, it's this one over here, sitemap size limits. So you have to try to reach to a file top 50 megs of size or 50,000 URLs. Otherwise, you have to come up with multiple sitemaps or optionally create a sitemap index for your website. And about the absolute URLs, you always have to aim to specify the full URL for your pages and not just go with something like this. Okay. And the last part of the demo is actually going into a version of the web of DNN platform. This is a demo URL or DNN. It's the 10.03.02, the latest. And if we go to the page settings, go to the settings, sorry, and then jump into the SEO tab, we're gonna have first the URL management. In my personal opinion, whenever I start a website, I like not to use the underscore or middle score, middle dash um, on the URLs. So I always disable this. I always make all URLs lowercase to avoid as much as possible non-canonical URL problems. Then in my case, since I'm in Costa Rica, we do have a lot of special characters. So I always try to activate this option. So this is something that I always have this configured, as you can see here. And then I go back to the sitemap settings. And on the sitemap settings, this is the URL for the sitemap, so you can look at it. It's based on how much time you want to allow the cache to clear. So whenever the crawlers look for this sitemap file, well, it will cache. If there's a website, if that's a website that doesn't change too much, I wouldn't worry about setting up a long time or actually a short time or disabling it. I will actually put the longest available, which is 7 days. I will exclude all the priority lower than 0.6. I always try to keep my priority levels between 0.6 and above. So I always specify to go, if it's lower than that, just don't include it in the sitemap. The minimum priority for pages, I will always set between 0.9 and 0.8. Um, Depending on the amount of pages that the main menu will have, I would probably go by 0.8 if there's a lot. Um, and there's always hidden pages. So whenever we do like a marketing campaign and we have landing pages hidden, but we want those hidden pages to be also, or to have a possibility to be organically be displayed on Google search result pages. So we always check this uh, checkbox here to include those hidden pages, and we usually don't enable the page level based priorities, but it will be like different um, management for the priorities because it's gonna be based on page level. So there's one page on the main menu, it's one, then one page inside it's 0.9 and so on. I always manually set the priorities on each page when I create them, so I never use this feature. And here at the bottom, you have the option once your website is live to just send this straight to Google and create the verification code here. I always go to Search Console and do it manually. So I'm gonna go real quick here to the Search Console. It's in Spanish, so just ignore the language. But you go to Sitemaps here on the left, you pick up your website, then you go to Sitemaps here on the left. You can just specify the URL here and you send. It will give you the map. Over here, you can click on it. And if you click here, open sitemap, it will open up a new tab and you will have your sitemap display. Okay. So that will be all for my end about sitemaps. Any questions or comments about it, guys? You're on mute, man.
Yeah. Hey, Marco, I know you said the 50,000 page thing is when you should use sitemap index. We've actually had a scenario or two where we wanted to use sitemap index on smaller sites. What do you think about that? Do you think somehow Google might penalize you? Because I have to tell you, we've been using it successfully so far, and I think 3 recent projects, all of which have
Yeah.
less than 50 pages, but it's been working really well because it lets us organize and do custom URLs. So we split it up between what DNN spits out, the index, and then we usually add two others for things like slug-based articles, and in another case, publications that had DOI codes. Do you think it's okay, or do you think that might
Yeah.
be a bad idea? I don't know what to think about that.
Actually, I don't think it gets penalized, honestly. It's
Okay.
just a different way of doing things. The recommendation is mainly when you have big websites with more than 50,000 pages that you want to
Yeah.
like put it on your sitemap. So that's like the best approach. So you can maximize your time and be more efficient, you know? But if you use it for websites less than that, it's just a different approach. At the end of the day, what Google wants or any other search engine is to have a nice and clean sitemap that they can read on, you know. So I don't think you're gonna get penalized if you're using it for
Okay.
smaller
And if I
websites.
think I do, I'll let you know because it's an interesting topic. I really like what we're doing using the sitemap index. So
Yeah,
I'll let
yeah,
you
that's
know.
great, man.
And
All
then
right,
my other quick
excellent.
question, hopefully just a quick yes or no. You mentioned that Google, and I've known for years, they ignore frequency and what was the other
Priority.
one? Priority.
Priority.
Do you think including them, do you think the AI is using those at all?
Mm.
Do you,
Well,
I
I think that most of SEO best practices will apply for AI because at the end of the day, when you think about SEO, you're thinking about optimizing your website the best as possible, not only thinking about the search crawlers, but thinking about the end user experience and all that. So I believe that most of the things that are SEO related will get you benefits on the AI era, right? So talking
yeah,
about sitemaps, I believe that if you focus, for example, priority, in my case, I always include priority in the sitemaps, but I use it because for me, it's like when you have a blog on your website and you have categories, but you also have the tags. So you have different ways for end users to find the content they want. So for me, priority tag, it's a different way to explain the structure of my page um, setup, you know. So I will definitely include it, but I will just keep in mind that the priority is just a different way to show the hierarchy of your pages. Not thinking about, I will add it and I will put every page that I want to, be displayed on the results from AI on one. That doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense because you just messed up what you did correctly on the sitemap itself, right? So you have to
Yeah.
match. So I would definitely include it and also included the last modify tag. That's a really important one.
Cool.
All right. Any more questions or comments?
Yes, a question on the levels. You set the level to exclude at zero point 0.6, and then and then the other level you set was 0.9. Where are those levels actually set on the page? Who sets
Where
them?
yeah, great question, bro. Just go here, page. So when you are on the DNN, you are on page like home, you go to advance, then you have SEO, and then you have the option to allow or not allow index. So if you want this page to be on the sitemap, you have to check this. And then you specify your priority right here.
And is there, I don't know anything about why I would pick a particular priority. I have
Well,
I
that
have a
depends.
hierarchy already, which I thought dictated the priority of it, but
Yeah. It's like a folder. You can look at it as ladders or just a folder organization, right? So the first one on the top is gonna be one. So homepage will always be one, and that should only be the only page with one priority because it's homepage, right? And then the other pages that you have on your menu should be 0.9. Now, if those pages have sub pages, those sub pages should be 0.8. So it's a different way to structure or explain to search crawlers how your page is structured by putting the right priority levels, right? But mistakenly, most common think of looking at priority is that I will put all my pages on one to make Google think that all pages are important, so they should be there on the search result pages.
Yeah, I
That's
definitely
not
don't agree
that's
with doing that.
yeah, that doesn't work. So you have to, in my case, I will do it that way. Homepage is one, all the other pages on the main menu will be 0.9. And if there are sub pages, I will put 0.8. So it's like headers, header one, header two. So you have to like make sure that everything's sync up, right? So if you have a sub page from your main menu, that page should be 0.8 because it's the way the priority works, from top to bottom. So in my case, I mentioned that I never go below 0.6 because one of the SEO best practices that I always try to implement in websites is that the end user should get to the content they want in 2 or 3 click stops. So I will never go down from 0.8. I will probably stay between 1, 0.9, 0.8. Really, really weird scenarios where I go down to 0.7 because there's another subpage, but that is too much complex for the end user who's trying to find that content. So I will look for another way on the homepage, maybe to put a display or something that people can jump in or use internal linking so people can jump in from one page to another. So I can send traffic to this page that is really down below the page structure. But, that's just the way that I would recommend people using the priority on the page. And it's always good to have it because it's a different way to set the hierarchy of your page, but it has to match the actual page hierarchy. And don't forget about all this SEO thing that it will get you there just because you put one. Doesn't make any sense. Just you have a really bad page with really bad content, and then you think that just by putting that number there, Google's going to put you on the top. It doesn't make sense. You have to
Nope.
focus on high quality content, video, images, text, and just make sure your priority is set correctly based on the page structure.
Makes sense. Yes.
Excellent. So I think we're done. So
I'd like to say that you
go
just
ahead.
said a lot of good points, and I'd like to sum it by saying it really helps your SEO and your sitemaps if you actually go in there and look at it and think about it. That's a good summary of what you said.
Yes, yes, I
There's a lot
agree.
of people who just blur and don't look at it and don't do anything, and that's the mistake. It's worth taking the time to think it through.
Yeah. And if you keep it simple, it makes SEO task simple. So once you register your sitemap to the Google Search Console, for example, you're going to start having notifications about non-canonical URLs. So you can start fixing those problems right away coming from Google itself. So after you set your sitemap, the next step will be to be constantly checking out your Google Search Console notifications, because as soon as Google tells you there's a URL with this non-canonical URL definition, then you have to decide which is going to be and fix that, and so you can go move forward. But registering, yeah, your sitemap not only to Google, to Bing web search tools will help you get that feedback from the search engines, so you can fix whatever is wrong on your sitemap or on your website, so the sitemap reflects 100% what you want to display on your website structure.
Yeah, cool.
Excellent. So I think we're all set. I
Oh,
don't
well,
know where to
unless
stop the
unless
recording.
Don off the cuff wants
Yeah.
to do a demo for us.
Yeah, correct.
Uh, well, I
Yeah.
tell you what, we brought up EasyDNN News
Yeah.
today and the new interface, and I also already mentioned that I've only played with it and not have implemented the new interface on the majority of the sites. But I did do a site uh, that really kind of pushed EasyDNN News a little differently than most people think of it, as a news or an events or even a catalog. Um, what I did was my wife is an Agatha Christie expert, and she has a
Oh, yeah.
website called Agatha Annotated. Well, I built the website for her, Agatha Annotated. And the intent of Agatha Annotated is that it is the database of all of her glossary terms that she found. Now, her plan is to do all of the series of books, which span over 5 or 6 decades. She started in the 1920s. Agatha Christie did, not Kate. They're 100 years old. The original stories, and they have a lot of obscure terms we no longer use. Not only are we not British, but we're no longer not over 100 years
Yeah.
old. So she came up with just in the 1920s. There's 11 novels. She came up with over 1,800 terms. And in order to help her build all of this, she ultimately wanted to have a book of a glossary. But to be able to do that, I suggested that she manages all of her words, all the work that she did in research by using a website. And so I built an EasyDNN News based website where every article is a term, and then I had to play with the layout. So we built this so that people become a member of the site, and then once they're a member, they log in, they can see the page where all the definitions are. And I did a whole bunch of cool EasyDNN News capabilities to show that. So I'd be happy to show that if you'd like.
Well, if you want to do a little bit of prep, I would highly recommend. I'm looking at the website right now and I'm seeing the 1,827 terms, 172. If you want to do an actual 10-minute demo of this next month, I would love to sign you up for that just because I'm so interested.
Oh yeah, I'd be happy to do it. Yes. And so what I'll
Language is
do is
always
I'll
amazing to
will
me too, because like look at the last 20 years. I can't even understand these people under 25 anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, it's very true. It's very true. And it's funny. We were at an author fair, festival outside outdoor festival, and a young lady walked up and said, I have no idea who Agatha Christie is. And I said, have
Wow.
you seen the latest one of the latest movies like The Haunting of Venice or Murder on the Orient Express? Oh yeah, yeah, I love that. That's an Agatha Christie story. Oh, really? So a lot of people don't know that they love some of these stories that are all Agatha Christie stories. Now, when you take a movie, like you take Kenneth Branagh making these movies over again, uh, they're not using any of the terms that Agatha Christie put in there because it's created for today's audience. But if you see a movie and you say, "Gosh, I should go back and read the original book," you're going to be surprised that there's a lot of terms in there that you won't know. Now, you'll still be able to read it and you'll just jump over the terms that are a little unfamiliar and you want to get to who done it and all of that. But by seeing the terms and seeing what they mean, you get all of her inside jokes. There's a lot of interesting references along the way that kind of just go right over most people's heads. So what I could do is I could show it as far as a member would see it, and then I can switch over and log in as an administrator and show you the cool ways that much of it is EasyDNN with a little bit of embellishment from me. But yeah, I'd be
That'd
happy to
be,
do that next month.
I would really like that. I'd almost say though, can you keep it to 10 to 15 minutes? Because
I will struggle to keep it to 15 to 10
Nice.
minutes.
yeah, because also you can tell I'm the type of person I'll ask you a bunch of questions and we'll go on for 20 minutes sideways.
No,
Cool.
we'll condense it down. There's a couple of key things.
Yeah, I think it's just
I
something if you can show off the pieces and how it relates to DNN and what you did that helped,
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
sounds really cool.
If it's of interest, we could even do a follow-on because the EasyDNN is a key component. It really is the what I used. Originally, I was trying to use a pure database program, and so I started with Plantain app, but the overall structure of it was a little more kind of difficult for me. However, because I do a lot of other stuff using Plantain app, I added Plantain app into this site, and now some of Kate's management screens, like coming up with a new term, is actually a little bit of a Plantain app that she goes in there, and it ties into the EasyDNN database so that she can quickly put a new term in and specify what book it's from and what chapter it's in, so to reference where it is, and then just click, 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 and submit, and it goes and dumps it in as a new EasyDNN News article without ever running any of the EasyDNN News modules. Um, kind of a side. So if you're interested, we can just talk about EasyDNN News, and then some other time we can do how kind of appended some structure on the side of EasyDNN News using Plantain app to make
All
it.
right, well, if you don't mind, I'm going to consider you signed up for a demo for next time. All
Yeah,
you need
sure,
to do is let me know, me or Marco know ahead of time what you want the title to be. And
sure,
we'd like to know that about 1 week before.
sure, sure. Happy to.
All right. Very cool, Don.
Excellent.
Good talking to you.
Thank you. Yes. Okay.
Ready to
So
wrap up or
yeah.
let's stop the
So
recording.
yeah, you know where to do that.
Yeah,
I
there
don't
we
know.
go.
I don't know
I'm
where to.
stopping the recording. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you next month on August 4th. And we will
Take
have
care
the
now.
time figured out.
All right.